Welcome to your pro MMA debut fight week. What's the difference for you? Obviously, competing is nothing new to you, but you're here, you're with Bellator, you're making your debut. What's fight week been like for you?
Um, it's amazing, right? It's everything I've dreamt of, but just trying to take in each and every moment, right, and live in the moments. You only get one debut. Um, I've been competing at a high level my whole life. Uh, Now coming from wrestling, the only difference is we get to punch, kick, and choke people, and at times in wrestling matches you want to do that, right? You get a little bit of that, so um, it's been great, and I have a bunch of teammates on the card, so it's almost like home away from home, right? We have 5 or 6 different guys from Kill Cliff here, so there's a comfort aspect here as well. So I feel great. The weight's never an issue. Was making 143 for wrestling. The 3 extra pounds is like night and day. So I'm just excited to compete and showcase my skills and everything I've been working on down in Kill Cliff.
I can tell there's genuine excitement and happiness here. It's like we've spoken before. You kind of took my next question out. You only do get one debut. Where's the mindset on the stamp and the print and the lasting image you're going to leave on this debut?
Right? You want to be the people's champ, right? So for me, it's like you want to come out, you want to give them what they want to see. Even in my training, leading into this, my coaches are like, dude, you're a wrestler, because so much in my training, I fell in love with striking. And I'm starting to strike, and I'm feeling comfortable. And I have to, they'll get on top of me and be like, you better start wrestling, right? So being able to mix that in, but I want to be able to showcase a true, full mixed martial artist, not just coming in and being a wrestler. Yes, wrestling is my strong suit. Push come to shove, if things need to be controlled or I need to take things to the ground, that's what I'll do. But I want to showcase my full ability, whether that's striking, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, cage wrestling. I want to become the ultimate mixed martial artist. So I want to give the crowd what they want to see, and obviously for my debut, we want to finish.
Well, I'm excited for you. Last one for me. You've mentioned it. We've talked about it here at Media Day a lot. Is this the Kill Cliff takeover here in Sioux Falls this weekend?
Oh, that's right. Kill Cliff, that gym is going to have a great night on Friday night, and we'll celebrate after and take that momentum into, the 12th where Luke is fighting, and go home and celebrate and get back to training.
Hey Jordan, Pat Dana from Combat Sports UK. So, despite this being your debut, you are 33 years old. Is this something that, looking back now, that you would have wished you did sooner, or do you feel like this was the perfect time for you to do this?
In 2016, I almost made the change. I've invested 29 years of my life into wrestling, and to not put myself in a position to win an Olympic gold was not acceptable for me. So there's some points where, I wish I would have did it earlier, but then again, this is my path, and I feel very, very comfortable, and I'm still in my prime, right? And the knowledge that I've gained through those years that I didn't make the change are helping me now, and on this day, right, for my weight cuts and just performing at a high level and just being ready to accept the mental capacity and the physical capacity of a fight.
Yeah, no, the weight cut must be, not easy, but, not something you're used to at this point. So I definitely, I get what you mean. The wrestling has, prepared you for this. So you actually hold multiple wins in wrestling over fellow Bellator fighter Bryce Meredith. Is that a fight you'd be looking to get in MMA at some point?
Oh, man, Bryce is under the same management as me. Bryce is a very, very good friend of mine. Bryce is fighting, I believe, 135. At the end of the day, we're in a sport where, only one person can be a champ, right? Just like wrestling, only one person can be on the team. So that's definitely not a fight that I'm going to be like, hey, I'm asking for that fight. Me and Bryce are really, really good friends, and I wish nothing but the best for Bryce. But if it came down to terms of me and Bryce had to fight for a title, obviously, being good friends, as soon as we got in the cage, it'd be kill or be killed. And then after, we'd circle it back up. But, those are all possibilities. And even wrestlers, past wrestlers and wrestlers that are in Bellator, and, I can compete against. Hopefully we can stay as a union, but like I said, push come to shove, there's only one champ.
So you had multiple wrestling matches against Brent Metcalf, Zane Rutherford, Joey McKenna, many more. Who would you say is your biggest rival from wrestling?
Man, I would say biggest rival is Brent Metcalf, right? At the time, such a decorated collegiate wrestler, one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant in his era. And then his senior level, he was just a bear. And for me, I think I was like 1-6 against him, and all the matches were barn burners. So he was somebody that really pushed me and evolved me and helped me develop in my wrestling, inside and outside the room. It was a guy that I had to beat, right? But the record's 1-6, so I don't know if you would call it a rivalry, but if you watch the matches, they were all barn burners, and I wish I can always get them back.
What's up, Jordan? Dylan Napoleon with New England MMA here. What did wrestling at such a high level in a prestigious school do to help you prepare for this mixed martial arts scene, more specifically professional mixed martial arts?
Even the process of making the transfer to compete in MMA, become a mixed martial artist world champion, wrestling had already put me through this process. It's something that wasn't new. One reason I chose Oklahoma State is because of the coaching staff, right? You had John Smith, Eric Guerrero, but you had the best coaches, and also you had a room full of killers, right? So the guys that I were competing against were national champions. So whoever I towed the line against, I didn't believe was ready to compete against me, and at the high level I was always competing at, right? So looking at gyms and getting ready to compete in MMA, I took the same approach. And looking at a gym like Kill Cliff, you have such a prestigious group of coaches, but then you look at the roster and all of the different looks and fighters that I can get. And for me to be the best fighter, I can't only train with wrestlers or strikers, right? I got to have a mixture of everything, and they got to be great. So definitely prepared me in making my decision, and then just competing at a high level, mentality, of taking in the pressure, going through the weight cuts, and just the strenuous training, right, of preparing. And then after all the weight cuts, right, you drain yourself, and then you have to have your peak performance. So something we did weekly, and we were making weight and competing and wrestling 2 hours off the scale. So this is actually not too bad. So wrestling's prepared me, I think, much more than I even thought getting into MMA.
Awesome. And speaking of Kill Cliff, obviously, like you said, it's a room full of killers. Is there anyone that you've kind of singled out or been working with more than others to help you get ready for this MMA debut?
Man, it's just been teamwork. I've been working with all of the coaches from, Coach Hoove to Sean Soriano, Greg Jones, who's the wrestling coach, and Sean Strout and Dieter Navarro. All of these guys are sprinkling a little bit of knowledge in everything they have. And, when it comes to training partners, I'm almost cream of the crop a little bit, right? Because I bring such a high level of wrestling, right? So it's awesome for me because, I got guys like Luke A. Vicente, who's, once helped with wrestling, and I can offer him wrestling, and I'm just like, hey, how about you sprinkle a little bit of that strike in the ears to me, right?
Right.
So getting to have those exchanges with all these guys, and Gilbert Burns and Darian Caldwell, and I can go down the list of Richie Lewis, Jared Gordon, Michael Johnson, right? And these are guys I'm training with every day at a high level. So not only are they helping me and molding me, but, man, fighting these guys every day, I'm prepared to fight anyone.
What's up, Jordan? How you doing? We've talked a lot about wrestling. I'm going to keep it going. How do you anticipate the nerves on fight night stacking up compared with the nerves headed into an NCAA championship wrestling match?
Oh, man. I think it's going to be, it's going to be more nerve-wracking than wrestling, right? Wrestling, I've competed for so long, so I knew what to expect. I knew kind of, even my opponents, I knew kind of what they brought to the table, their pace, right? So this is all new for me, right? I've had such nerves in competing on the Olympic stage and Olympic trials and U.S. Opens and all of that. But I think this is going to be a lot more of an adrenaline rush. And it's weird because in wrestling I would be nervous. You know, the nerves started the week of. I'm not even nervous yet just because I feel like in fighting there's a lot more I can control. And in wrestling, you know, referees and different point scoring got in the way of that. And with fighting, you know, you can control that a little bit more. A guy starts putting pressure on you or pace or whatever it might be. You can use strikes to take them down. There's a boatload of different opportunities, right? Mm-hmm. But the adrenaline and the nerves, I believe, will be there on fight night, but they're a good thing.
Mm-hmm. What can you tell me about guys like Daniel Cormier and Henry Cejudo and how they've influenced you throughout your combat sports career?
I mean, those guys are who laid the blueprint, right? You have DC, who came from Oklahoma State, Henry Cejudo, who's a very, very good friend of mine that I've watched. And I talk to these guys every week, you know, bouncing technique off of them, even just picking their mind. What'd you do for fight week? You know, how were your weight cuts? What were you looking? Your rest days? And anything I can get knowledge-wise out of these guys. So they've been like two big brothers to me. So for me, you know, it's an honor just being associated with them. So hopefully, you know, I can repay them in, you know, breaking their records.
Mm-hmm. Nobody's asked the corny question, so I'm going to go ahead and ask it. Since we're in the great state of South Dakota, of course, known for Mount Rushmore, I was wondering if you could tell me what your Mount Rushmore of NCAA wrestlers is, the 4 best.
Ooh.
Ever.
4 best. Well, I'm going to say NCAA, you got Kyle Dake, number 1, right? 4-time champ, 4 different weight classes. Dude's unbelievable. Cale Sanderson. You have, I don't want to be corny and give all to the 4-timers. A guy that trains me now at Kill Cliff, Greg Jones. One of the best wrestlers I have ever seen. Don't know why he didn't go to the world level, but dude's amazing. And then I would probably say myself.
I was going to say Jordan Oliver. Thank you, man. It's a good one.